So we're recording right now. All right, so let's
Yeah.
introduce ourselves.
Oh no.
Who wants to
What?
start?
No, that's not how. That's not how we start episodes.
All right, so how do we 6 months later now, Thomas?
You say what this podcast is, and you
What episode we're on?
yeah, and then
Okay.
you introduce us, and then we fail to communicate properly with timing, and then we
Okay.
act like it's an original joke.
Okay, so welcome to the next episode of Sparkcast. Today it's my throat. I can't do that voice. My throat's not good for it. Welcome to the next episode of. welcome.
Sparkcast.
Welcome to Sparkcast, and I'm your host, Sean. And also over here, somewhere else in Maryland, is
Rami? Ravage Sammy?
oh, yes,
I'm gonna
that
curse
you also
immediately.
double effed up because you cursed on our show.
I did. That means you can't use that take though. Hold on, I gotta.
Oh
pick
no,
up
I'll just
fucking
insert it with
Transformer.
the Transformers laser blast. It'll be fine.
Oh, perfect.
And who else do we have? Not in Maryland, but who are you?
Thomas.
I'm sorry. Are you okay with telling the internet and the world what state we live in?
No, this makes me immediately uncomfortable. I am sweating right now.
That's all I'll ask us
Suck it up.
to ever give of our personal information.
Other than
Uh,
our names.
You get my IP address and no more.
And our
Okay.
likenesses as robots.
You can buy Transformers. You can buy Transformers. You can buy Transformers.
We're coming back to you after a few months of not recording, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things. I have here an old note that I wrote for Thomas. In our previous episodes, you said that Dr. Arkeville looks like a bargain bin Dr. Wily. Well, did you know, Thomas, that I am actually a descendant of the Wily family?
I'll go ahead and formally apologize for offending your grandfather, I'll guess.
Oh my god. Great grandmother, Jenny Wiley. If you've ever heard of her, she was that woman who was taken in by Native Americans and then decades later ran away and was found. She wrote an autobiography after that. So none of my ancestors, I actually did a research on all of my Wiley relatives. None of them were doctors yet, so I am not a descendant of any Dr. Wiley.
Now you can join the rest of us plebes.
We
So
are
this episode, guys.
this episode countdown to extinction. The 14th episode of the original Transformers.
AKA watching Starscream fail miserably for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It was beautiful.
Who wants to try to give a summary of this episode? Thomas.
All right. Who named Thomas? I am the only Thomas, so I will give the summary. This episode is basically just a continuation of the story from previous episode. I don't know. Was this part 3 or was part 3 the previous episode?
Part 3 was the previous. This is kind of like an epilogue.
Okay, so yeah, so it's like an epilogue for the previous little miniseries. And in this episode, Starscream is up to the best stuff that makes this show the best. He believes Megatron has been destroyed, and he is wasting no time in taking over and putting forward his plans. He's trying to basically rehash the plan of the previous 3 episodes and destroying a planet and harvesting its energy. So you get through most of that. Megatron comes back. Shockwave, he breaks down in tears that he's so excited that Megatron's still alive. He snitches out on Starscream, but neither of them are around to do anything about it. Optimus makes sure they're all delayed and fight over the electric light football. And then coincidence brings Starscream back down in the episode.
So I'll tell you all quick differences from the Japanese version.
He's more than meets the eye. He's a robot in disguise.
Rumble getting thrown around was hilarious because he screamed like a girl. It really sounded like a girl was doing the voice. And maybe it was, who knows? And they added an echo to Megatron whenever he's talking down the cliffs at the Autobots, I realized. That wasn't there originally. But the weirdest thing is there was a summary of all 3 episodes before this episode started because those 3 episodes did not air in Japan because Jetfire was in them. It immediately just went to this episode, and we're like, oh yeah, all this other stuff happened. And everyone's probably watching that going, well, why haven't we seen those episodes?
That's really weird.
Yeah, because no one would get to see them until the end of season 2 or season 3. No, I don't think the Jetfire ones came out until the end of either end of season 2 or 3. It's been too long since I talked about this. I've already forgotten.
And those Jetfire episodes were not aired initially
Skyfire.
because of Jetfire. Those Skyfire episodes weren't aired initially because of copyright stuff with
Yeah, the other company.
Okay, yeah.
So they didn't want to advertise for him and all this other stuff. Next, we'll get to the writer of this episode.
Sarcasm not appreciated.
Sammy, you want to read the writer history?
Hell yeah. So this episode was written by Reed Robbins and Peter Salas. Reed was the story editor for Foo Fur, Wake, Rattle and Roll, and Smurfs, in which he also wrote over 20 episodes and was the story creditor for many others. His writing in Smurfs earned him 2 Daytime Emmy nominations. He last wrote episodes for Captain Planet. He became a composer during his writing work and also composed every episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog in 1993. So, the good one.
The
AKA
comedy
actually-
one is what I wrote.
Yeah, I don't care. It's the good one.
Then there's the serious one. All right.
Look, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog got me into Sonic. It was stupid and great, and I loved it. I love this guy for writing it. And also, actually, it just makes me laugh. Never mind.
Well,
It's
he
just
made
funny.
I said he did all the music for Sonic. He didn't write any of the episodes.
Yeah, no, that's why I
Yeah.
stopped myself and I was like, no.
Okay.
But that is still, it's just funny that they connect. Anyways,
Yeah.
his other episode of Transformers is Quest for Survival, also written with Peter Salas. Peter Salas has no other major work and no other information could be found about him. He is a mystery.
It's like the second guy we haven't been able to find any information on since I started looking up the writers.
Look, some people are just hired off the street because they just needed somebody to write some robots. And they're like, hey, do you like robots? And they're like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And they just invite them into the studio. It was the 80s.
I'm just imagining someone walking down the streets with a microphone in like New York City or some city, just going, "Hey," with a megaphone. Does anybody want to write for this cartoon? We need writers. Somebody help us.
That's exactly how that works.
We can only pay you the cost of a hot dog, but you get to write for us.
You get to put your name in lights
Mhm.
that no one will read.
Can I put my name in the hot dog?
If you want to, you could write it in mustard or ketchup if you prefer.
Ew.
Me, Grimlock, no like you.
What did we like and not like about this episode?
So everything was beautiful because it's Starscream centered, and there's a lot of memorable quotes in this
Oh, yeah.
episode in particular.
I don't have memorable quotes, but somewhere along the line, somebody said "world in ruins" and "shattered planet." I think that was the narrator. But I was like,
yeah,
so
the
if
narrator
all
says that at the beginning.
So I'm like, if this is what happened, shouldn't not the whole episode be the Transformers digging graves for the millions of people that were killed the last 3 episodes?
Nah.
I mean, I did like it was
So-
actually, yeah.
So yeah, so I guess that kind of stuck with you, and it also kind of stuck with me as well because, again, the narrator's talking about well, one, I didn't appreciate him saying he put all of this on Megatron and said that Megatron's actions led to Earth being just having all these catastrophes going around and just cities just being laid to waste when it was Optimus's own selfish choice. So that's why I went back a few episodes to make sure that yeah, it was just Optimus. It was his choice to either let Cybertron be destroyed or the Earth get destroyed. He chose to have the Earth get destroyed. The narrator's just trying to sweep that under the rug. But I don't know. It seems like this is a very good opportunity for them to actually show the human element of just what's going on here. But
Mhm.
no, we just see a bunch of just a giant city that's just nothing but rubble. Or it was like, I guess every single human has died in this particular city they're showcasing.
I also like how the episode is an epilogue to the last one. It's not just, well, the world's reset and now back to our normal adventures. Like,
I mean, they're kind of acting like nothing happened before.
Yeah, I
mean,
was about to say, like, it's not. It's
Optimus killed. I mean, he killed millions, and they're not addressing it at all.
they'll
Hey.
grow back.
So are we gonna put Optimus in court and he's gonna defend himself? Be like, well, it was already happening. I just made sure it continued. So is that really make him fallible for his actions? Because he was
I
saving a
don't know.
planet
Maybe
from
that's
getting
like
destroyed.
first degree mass murder, something. I don't know. He's not clean, not one bit.
I mean, I'm not arguing with this at all.
Mhm. When the episode started, I thought Wheeljack would have some kind of twist that showed that he was taking a picture of them fixing everything. Because, like, he was just, I thought he had a camera and was going to be like, oh man, here's everybody rebuilding. But instead, it was a calibration tool for building of some kind. And all that was just abandoned, like, after the first minute about the last 3 episodes. Yeah, so I guess it is true what you said earlier about them, like, not even addressing it.
Another thing I like was basically the sequence right after this where Skywarp is hanging out in, I don't know where they are. I guess it's just some Decepticon base that they're in, and they're
Yeah.
trying to repair it. And then he just gets in a fight with Rumble because I guess Rumble wasn't doing something proper. Skywarp was giving him a hard time, so Rumble decided to attack him. And that it's just amazing that they actually decide that, like, okay, the scale matters in this sequence, and we're just gonna have Skywarp's backhand Rumble and destroy him pretty much, and he's just knocked out cold before Frenzy shows up, and then they tag team him. So I also wanted to ask, like, Frenzy, is that the first time he's been shown in this series so far?
If he's the second
Cassette, like he's
cassette
like a
guy.
red one, a red
Yeah.
disc cassette.
I think maybe he started showing up now because they didn't show both of them all the time. There was only the purple one for the longest time, who we know is Frenzy, even though the red one is supposed to be Frenzy. But he'll always be Frenzy in my heart.
Which one's supposed to be Frenzy? The red one?
I don't know. We discussed this on his character section, so go check out episode number. I don't remember. No,
I gotta
Yeah,
go
and
back.
you can tell us down in the comments.
Gotta go do homework.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I need to tell you something I hated. I'm sorry. I'll just edit myself out, but fuck Gears, man. Like Huffer. Never mind. It was Huffer. Like, Gears actually did something good. He was working to fix mankind's shattered planet, and Huffer's making fun of him for something while he's trying to rebuild a whole planet. I'm like, come on, Huffer. Seriously? So yeah.
Look, someone's got to be useless here.
Even though he was making fun of my most hated Autobot, he didn't deserve it this time.
See, that's probably why it wasn't a very difficult choice, it seemed like, for Optimus to make to destroy the Earth. Because it doesn't seem like the Autobots really care that much. They're over it already.
Oh, I liked how the Decepticon leadership badge is just this little badge that's glossy and reflective. And then
I mean,
and
it doesn't
It
need to be
can't
fancier.
denied at all. Like,
it's like he just shows it to Shockwave, but Shockwave can't believe like Starscream has it. He's like, no, Megatron can't be gone. He's so distraught. He just listens to Starscream and allows him to take command.
That is
Like,
the
'cause
funniest thing. It's just
I
like
don't-
you are the most logical person here, and yet you're listening to Starscream. Like,
Well, that's because he's so emotionally distraught about Megatron, he can't be logical in this moment.
well, actually, it seems like, well, one, I think he is the most
Actually.
logical person. But then on top of that, he's the one that seems like he is in love with Megatron and he really cares. And for him to just give up just because he's shown this weird badge that apparently, I don't know if that's specific to Megatron or if all the Decepticons just have that. Like, he just gives up all hope. He was like, oh, well, he's dead. I guess I'll just start listening to you, Starscream.
And that's not it, too. Like, when Megatron comes back and the explosion happens in the lab, Shockwave's like, Megatron, come in! Because he thinks he's lost him for real this time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of funny how how earnest he is in caring about Megatron's well-being, but then just in that one moment, he's just like, "All right, I guess he's gone."
Yeah, and sadly, Shockwave will never become a three-dimensional character. We'll never learn his backstory, why he's loyal
Unless
to
you read the
Megatron.
IDW comics.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this type of canon, like
But
this
I do
universe.
like the dynamic that, especially in this episode, that he and Starscream present. Starscream is just so happy to see that Megatron's destroyed, and he's taking action immediately. And Shockwave, pretty much throughout most of this episode, is just like trying his best just to find out if Megatron's okay and to get in contact with him.
Well, he did
It's
wait
just-
4
it's-
million years, so he can wait in a few more
Yeah.
days to verify this explosion. So, Thomas, you like cringeworthy dialogue, right? So, why are we
I
sightseeing?
guess. Well,
We're not. But the Autobots will see something they'll never forget.
See, I don't think that's cringy. I think it's just funny.
So I guess I was getting cringy stuff. I thought you were going to bring up Optimus constantly saying like, "Well, as the humans say," he said that multiple times this episode, and
Really?
the only line
Lay it
that I
on
wrote
me,
down
man.
was the "lay it on me, man." Yeah,
It's so good.
it's so dumb.
Wait, he said
So
lay it on me,
good.
man?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god.
He was talking to Jazz, I think.
I forget exactly.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about lines, I wrote too many quotes from this stupid episode, and like not enough about anything else apparently.
Okay, so
But
give us three.
There's a point, huh?
So give us three right now.
Okay,
No
cool.
context.
Metallic mini meatballs. Activate your
yeah.
mouth. And you must be exhausted from interfering with my plans.
Oh my god! Those two, the last two in particular, I laughed at. I don't know why I didn't write those down because Starscream's just the best.
He is. Like his sass
just-
meter is too much.
Did you write down the line where he was like basically like patronizing the doctor? The doctor figured out how Starscream's plan was gonna work, and Starscream was like, "Very good, doctor."
I didn't write that one down, but I do remember that because he's
Yeah.
just like he's so done with him. Like he's very
So-
done.
This isn't a line of dialogue, but I remember that Megatron throws a boulder at Optimus. Optimus jumps out of the way and it hits Rumble, and Optimus just starts laughing at Rumble getting hit by the rock and Megatron's incompetence. It was just like the only time I
No,
think I
he said
laughed during
Optimus
the
is-
episode.
Optimus is also just like, looks like your aim improved, Megatron. And I'm like, boy.
But he also laughed, and I was like, is this the first time that we've ever heard Optimus laugh? I don't
Did
know.
we get to the basketball episode yet? Because I'm pretty sure he laughs in that one too.
Basketball episode. What?
Okay, we have not gotten to that yet.
Yeah, they go to play with the Harlem Globetrotters. And no, I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm just
not-
kidding.
It's literally just a very brief segment at the beginning of one of the episodes. Like it's not an actual full episode, even though I wish it was.
As the
Like if
humans
we can
say,
have a comic,
boom shakalaka.
if we can have a comic issue that is fully about Godzilla playing basketball, and at the end he meets like Michael Jordan or something, and then they're just having a battle. Like we could have Transformers playing basketball. Like Godzilla fact for you.
Do you have any more quotes, Sammy?
There's one more, but I guess it's more of the whole scene, just because at the end, where I forgot who says it, but there's Megatron drags Starscream off, and then they flash back to the Autobots, and they're like, "I wonder what's gonna happen to Starscream," and they're like, "Nothing gentle, I bet." And I'm like, guys, that's awkward. Like,
We
are you
just
just
condoned
supporting their
torture.
abuse?
Yeah.
But that scene reminds me of Transformers Prime, where it's interesting to see how different a scene can be, even though it's the same elements. Because there is a scene where Megatron takes Starscream by the head and pulls him across the entire ship. And like you can hear him screaming, and like as the camera is panning away, and then it pans to the Autobots, and they're just like, "Ha ha, Starscream!" And I'm like, This is terrifying.
Torture's only acceptable when the person's evil, right?
Right? Also,
Yeah.
like, in the 80s, question mark. Anyways, I feel bad for Starscream, like, 24/7. Like, no wonder why he's kind of a garbage can. Like, Megatron treats him like garbage.
Just have two last things to bring up, and they're basically like two ridiculous moments. One where I can just only just shake my head, and the other one was just pretty funny about how ridiculous it was. So the first one is just Megatron just being back in general. He was on a ship that exploded in space and was full of energon cubes. The explosion was strong enough to push Cybertron out of Earth's orbit, but he survived it somehow and was able to fly back to the planet pretty much unscathed. He wasn't like, I need to go get repaired or anything. He's just like, I'm here, let's go get that guy. So that was the one I was just like, all right, let's just add that to the list of things that Transformers will never have to worry about. They can just survive explosions in space.
His revenge fuels him.
Well, isn't
Just
that
inherits a new body.
Isn't that how that's how the first episode of Transformers Prime actually is? Like Megatron explodes out in the middle of space and Starscream takes over for like half the season.
And then
right
Megatron
away.
gets back and, yeah.
How did Megatron know where Dr. Arkaville's secret lab was? He just goes in front of this rock and is like, well, this must be it. And there's no explanation.
I think he found out because Shockwave had communicated with him at that point.
Okay.
So he told him the plans, and then that's when they decided to go to that place. And the Autobots only found out because Laserbeak they played back his tape, or they played back Laserbeak. He is the tape, and that's when they found out, and that's how they ended up ambushing the Decepticons. Which leads me to my other ridiculous point. They all leave the cave looking because Rumble comes and tells them that the Autobots are there. So Megatron steps out of the cave. He's standing at the entrance. He looks around for like 2 seconds, but then out of nowhere, like right in front of him from the bottom of the screen, Optimus comes in and uppercuts Megatron like 200 feet. Like how does he walk out the cave, look around, and then somehow gets ambushed by this giant 18-wheeler? I thought that was just the funniest thing. That him flying like so far was just icing on the cake.
I did like how when Megatron first goes in the cave, he looks at the device, and then there's a commercial break, and then it returns, and the timer is set 4 minutes later, which means Megatron just stared at the device for 4 minutes, basking in the awe of its design. I'm just like, all right then, I guess that's how we're going to deal with time jumps here. But also, I know this is a little weird, but I thought Optimus sounded slightly different this episode. The modulation of his voice was just a little bit different.
Oh, you said Optimus?
Yeah, Optimus' voices was slightly off this episode. I don't know what it was about it, but it didn't sound like the previous episodes.
Maybe he's picking up some human accents along with the human slang.
Did you guys all predict what was going to happen? Because at first I was like, the minute Starscream flies to Earth toward the end, I'm like, oh, this is just going to end with Megatron shooting it into space, and it's going to hit Starscream as he flies right into it. This is exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? And sure enough, Megatron and Optimus are just chilling down there, and then right when it's about to explode, they're like, oh god, we got to throw it into the sky. And it just blows up right in his face. Even though it should blow up a planet, somehow Starscream survives.
Add it to the list.
I do have some bad news for you, though, Thomas. So Optimus told his Autobots to attack, and then Ironhide and Jazz become infected with the CJ virus, that's Cliffjumper, and immediately want to fight instead of doing anything else, and they disobey orders to give in to their newfound bloodlust.
I don't know if Wheeljack was also a previous victim who's been infected, but he also happened to show some bloodlust. When I guess earlier, halfway through the episode, when they were driving in the little canyon or whatever, they dropped the rocks on him. They dug out Bumblebee. Then Optimus tells him to take cover and then fire from cover. And like Wheeljack's like, no, I want to stay here and fight. I don't want to hide in cover. It's just the most insane stuff. Like, I mean, Optimus has led them in battle countless times. Like, why are you doubting him now? Just follow the orders. You're the medic.
You just keep ignoring him. There's no like Autobot brig back at base where he's like, "Well, you disobeyed orders. You're in the brig for a week now." And
Well,
then you
yeah,
like
there
see,
is. They just have to open it up.
Then you see the lights go up, and everyone's like, "Oh." That's the brig. You have to suffer a week with the Dinobots while they
or
try to
eat
talk
them.
to you.
The Dinobots a terrible part after a while.
Animation errors. So I only saw one, surprisingly. Laserbeak is shot and falls down, and he's the size of half of a Transformer. But then when he falls down, he's small enough to fit inside Jazz's hand. So
Little baby bird.
that was all I saw. Like, I really didn't catch any this time. Maybe it's just because I was so engrossed in the episode. I don't know.
And I mean, I feel like I've had issue with Laserbeak's dimensions in every episode. I think he's just a constant animation error. Because like his size changes all the time.
Did you guys catch anything?
Nah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Apparently there's like, like 50 if you go to TF Wiki, but they're always so small sometimes you don't really notice them.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I had a question about, it's not really an error, it's just more of a design kind of thing. So the little minions that were on Cybertron, like helping out Starscream when he was there and Shockwave as well, they look like Reflector. Is that supposed to be a thing?
Oh my god, I don't even remember now.
Because then I was wondering, I was like, well, there was that episode where it was that little slingshot cart that they had that they were going to use it to transport stuff to Cybertron.
Yeah.
And Reflector got stuck in it. Well, one of his forms got stuck in it and got sent to Cybertron, and they never brought him back. So I was wondering, well, it makes sense that one of the workers would be Reflector, but there's two of them. So what's up with the other one?
Maybe off screen, another one went up to join him because, as we've seen, there's like 20 reflectors on the Decepticon side. So deleted audio.
They must be terminated.
I do have one thing I want you all to listen to, but first I'll tell you some stuff that was on here. There was 30 seconds of extra dialogue while they constructed the dam and attack Laserbeak, and then he gets away, and then others are worried the Decepticons are coming. And I'm like, I guess it's mainly like filler. But then there's Megatron sending Laserbeak to go spy on Starscream and Dr. Arkville, but it doesn't make sense because it's really early in the episode where he still has yet to know where they are with dialogue that's placed after it, though.
Yeah, that would definitely be a huge issue. Yeah, that would just seem like super obvious. It wouldn't make sense at all to like go after them, but then let's spend a significant portion of the episode trying to find out where they are.
Yeah, so listen to the deleted audio in the Dropbox at 2 minutes and 10 seconds until 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 30 seconds long. And I want you all to listen to it because I thought it was interesting.
Decepticons! Land and attack!
Now you're kicking on all circuits.
Fire! Return fire and deploy.
On my downbeat, beat them suckers down.
Prepare to be destroyed. The bigger they are, the better I like it.
I think I heard the space bar for stop. Thomas, you back with us?
No.
Nope. Oh, he turned the mute on, so he's going to wait until he's finished.
Yeah, I'm finished. I muted it because I needed to turn up. The sound wasn't playing through my headset, so I had to listen to it through my laptop.
You're all good.
So,
But
yeah.
that was why was there just a string of sound effect of just grunts?
I
I know.
adore I love little Starscreams just like, "Eh!" I'm like, what are you okay,
Yeah.
buddy? Did you stub your foot? Like, what?
Some of that dialogue was just, is it Jazz? He's just like, beat those suckers down. I'm like, whoa. They didn't use
Yeah.
that in the episode.
That was it was funny. I
But
like
then we
that.
get
Yep,
to
that's good.
the last one. The bigger they are, the better I like it. And I'm like, what is he even talking
What?
about?
Also, that's just a terrible written line.
I know. But yeah, that was just all this extra bit of dialogue that wasn't used. And I thought you would enjoy that. There were 3 scenes around 2 minutes total that are just Wheeljack's voice actor reading lines instead during Megatron's scenes as if Peter Cullen wasn't there to record. So that was interesting. I mean,
They're just like, we'll just swing it, guys.
Do we have that audio?
yeah, but it's like 2 minutes long. It's just the same scene we already have seen in the episode, but with Wheeljack playing Optimus and not really acting because he doesn't need to that much. He's just trying to give Frank Welker something to play off of.
Oh my
it's
god,
just-
there's a word
it's
for
just
that,
his-
and now I'm blanking.
All right. So, retcons. All the buildings are magically rebuilt by this episode, and all environmental damage is somehow reversed. And everyone on Earth must have collective amnesia, because in later Japanese series, people sometimes don't even know the Transformers are there when their entire planet appeared in front of you for days.
They're like, that's all, it's just our collective imagination.
And then was it Laserbeak gets free off screen, I guess, because he shows up next episode and it's never explained how he escaped. But then again, bad guys are always arrested, quote unquote, in 80s and 90s cartoons, only to just be randomly in the next episode without explanation. Because designing new characters and personalities every episode is too tough, man. But yeah.
I mean, in this case, I think it would probably be pretty easy. I mean, he loses one cassette, he just gets the new Michael Jackson album.
I'm sorry, what? I just totally blanked out. I didn't retain anything that you said.
That's probably for the best. He shouldn't have been the first thing that come to mind.
No, it's fine. You can hear it when someone edits this again.
God.
Jokes
forgot-
immortalized.
I always listen to our episodes a month after like they're done being edited, but it's been so long now, I forget what episode I stopped at. Just to like enjoy it. And I'm like, no, if there's any edits, don't worry about it because we're done. It's done and we move on. Anybody have any retcons they found?
No.
Okay.
Besides the obvious one at the beginning of the episode where they were retconned it to say that this is all Megatron's fault.
Oh yeah, that is right. We're on to Thomas's favorite section, Starscream's blunders and other stupid moments.
I do what I want when I want.
So Dr. Arkaville's secret base is in the side of a cliff, right in front of a set of stairs that goes into nothing. Totally not indicating that there's a secret base here.
Look, sometimes there are just random stairs in your life. You don't have to question them.
Starscream wants to destroy Earth and collect all the energy from its explosion? Or is it the building of energy from the generator that will release once the generator explodes, which just happens to take Earth with it? It was a little confusing. And then how's he going to collect it? If they could collect it, Megatron wouldn't have needed to build his dam and lightning collectors on Earth. They were not built on Cybertron. You have nothing on Cybertron to collect this energy unless it's just going to go everywhere and you're going to collect like 5 or less % of it on Cybertron and the rest is just going to go out into space, which sounds like a really horrible plan.
See, now you're forcing me to make you give credit to Starscream because he did explicitly say how he was going to collect it. He's going to collect it the same way they always collect stuff in Energon cubes. So
Oh my God.
When he brought Dr. Ockerville to Cybertron and he was telling Shockwave what was going on, and Shockwave was doubting him, and he was telling him that I'm in charge now, and he agreed. Shockwave agreed to listen, and when Starscream was leaving the room, it was a throwaway line, but he said, we have, I don't know what they call the shells, but he was saying that the planet's getting ready to blow in a few hours. We need to be prepared to collect all the energy in the Energon shells.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one line.
Okay. So even though they'll collect it, an explosion goes in all directions, though. So that means there's so much they're not going to collect.
I don't. Yeah. How they? How do you harness the energy of a planet exploding? I don't know. That's some Starscream math right there.
Look, guys, Starscream is a certified scientist. I'm sure he's got a handle on it.
He's no longer a scientist. Okay, so for both
He
of you,
was.
he wanted his title of this episode to be Lord Starscream, Tyrant of the Firmament.
He's earned it. He's already developed a crazy knowledge of just the human body because Dr. Arkaville got messed up by the computer security system that only Decepticons can activate. But then he converted him to a cyborg just out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's the smartest Decepticon there is. He's probably smarter than all the Autobots.
Agreed.
So any blunders and stupid moments in this episode from either of you?
Starscream was perfect in this episode. I don't know what you're talking
It
about.
doesn't have to be just Starscream, though that's all I got for this episode. But anyone else doing, stupid things.
I'm pretty sure
I
they were
thought
just
that
all
the,
average stupid this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thomas. You go.
I was gonna say I thought that the cave door to Dr. Arkaville's lab was pretty dumb. It was pretty dumb getting in Starscream's way and forcing Starscream to have to make an example out of it by throwing it in the in the valley down below. Oh yeah, that was. I forgot to mention that one little bit at the beginning about how he made an example out of the door and threatened this Dr. Arkaville with it. He was like,
Yeah.
"That's going to be you if you keep giving me a hard time."
Hey, boys, we're gonna be movie stars!
So who do you think is the main character of this episode?
Starscream.
Starscream.
Yeah, I was gonna say Starscream and Dr. Arkaville. They almost have as
Yes.
much screen time, and then Arkaville actually has, a sort of a character arc. He's trying to save the planet if he can because he realizes, it's a bad idea to do all this
Oh,
stuff.
I was wrong.
Not that he does anything throughout the episode because he's always by Starscream's side. Unless did he give information away at all to Megatron or the Autobots, or was he just there the whole time, doing nothing but having someone Starscream can talk to so he won't go crazy?
I don't think he actually gave any information because he was on Cybertron the whole time, and then
Yeah.
then Starscream left Cybertron. The Doctor was just still there, back on Cybertron. So I wouldn't actually give him the honor of being the main character. To me, it would need to be it's Starscream.
You have to actually do something.
Yeah, it's Starscream, and then the other main character I think is Megatron.
Well, he prevented Starscream from getting into that door for at least 5 seconds.
That is not enough to gain the main character status.
Well, he did. Let's see. He discovered Starscream's plan. I just don't remember if he warned anybody about it by setting
I
off
mean,
an
was it
alarm.
really a discovery when Starscream was performing the plan right there in front of him? He wasn't hiding it.
Didn't he convince Starscream to go down to Earth in the first place, or did he just?
I mean, he didn't convince him. He just made it obvious that Starscream had to go down there himself.
Yeah. So he did. See, he did help out somewhat. I'm gonna have to watch it again to see if he actually contributed it at all to the episode, other than helping program the explosion.
His contribution was helping the viewer understand the flow of the episode.
Otherwise, Starscream would just be talking to himself like a madman, right?
Would that have been so bad? I mean, it just would have been more lines from Starscream.
I still think he and Starscream were both the main characters, unless I'm outvoted by the both of you.
Absolutely outvoted.
Yep.
All right. Is this the first
Let
episode? Starscream
let
is the
Starscream have
main
his
character.
title. Yes. Let him have it. Just let him have this one.
Even when he took over, episode 4 or 5, he was only took it over for 5 minutes, and then it's back to Megatron again. So this was his first real episode, I think.
Yeah. It's the first episode without Megatron. Well, kind of.
Megatron's energy, which I guess for this episode is titled Starscream's energy.
Energy! We won't need to conserve it after tomorrow.
And we already went over his entire plan already, so we're just going to skip that. Yeah, any last thoughts about this episode?
Nope.
Nah, I think we covered it mostly. It's a lot of Starscream.
All right. So we're going to go on to our character spotlight. Spike's favorite friend until he discovered Bumblebee, Hound.
Wow.
So,
You know what? And I'm thinking back. I think that's definitely how it was. Because in the first couple episodes, Spike would ride around in Hound because you could still. It was easier to see the car move around, but also still see Spike's face, and it was easy for him to animate him jumping out of it instead of having to open up a car door, close it, all that kind of crap.
Look, Spike is allowed to choose which car to ride around in. He's allowed to have multiple cars.
He just took Hound for a test drive. You know, he wasn't really feeling it. He couldn't really work with his payments and stuff. So
Like I realize that now too is Hound was the first 3 episodes, which was actually the TV pilot, which probably means other writers who worked on the next few episodes just put Bumblebee in there, and then that's how it became. Like they must have chose Hound, the people working on the first 3, whereas the others chose Bumblebee without talking to each other.
Most
I don't-
likely.
was G.I. Joe already airing during those first 3 episodes?
Oh my god, I have to look up like
I thought it
statistical
was.
data now.
I would assume it was. And now that I think about it, them trying to choose Hound as the human companion to be in most of the episodes kind of makes sense if they want to have just, like, well, we see the kids really like this army style thing. Here's the army Jeep.
Right.
Instead of just, here's just a random Volkswagen Beetle that no kid would ever really think about ever.
I mean, it's a cute car. It's a
Mhm.
cute little toy car. It sells toys.
If I write G.I. Joe in Google or search, the first thing that comes up is the Rise of Cobra movie.
Yeah.
I actually liked that movie. It felt like a live action cartoon. That's all you could ask for, really, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Came out in 85.
What? And Transformers came out 84, I think.
Oh.
Ah,
all right.
okay, so a year
Right?
apart.
I don't.
Yeah. It's 84. Technically, the
Yes.
toys came out in 83.
Oh, that's right, because we have jumped ahead to some of the books and stuff that are in 85, but mainly, yeah, we've been reading 84 stuff.
So no, there's just that. I can read the quote. Observe everything, remember even more.
We got to remember, did we say that Hound is a green Jeep for those who might be confused, with all the multiple Transformer characters? That's all.
It's all good. Yeah, I just didn't realize that Hound was so poetic. His description is Hound loves the natural wonders of Earth, prefers it to Cybertron, brave, fearless, loyal, secretly desires to be human. Excuse me? Uses turret guns as radar scope, infrared radiation collector, tracks machines as well as humans. Hologram gun projects 3-dimensional grid laser light topographical maps, and vulnerable to thermal and electromagnetic interference. Wait, no, seriously, can we go back to this whole human thing?
I'm wondering what a 3-dimensional grid laser light topographical map is. Is that just like
Yeah,
a
That was also a
3-dimensional?
mouthful.
Is that like just a map where you can plan your war strategies on? You're like just a
Yeah.
smaller version?
Yeah, just call it
Like,
a
it's your Tony
hologram.
Stark
It's just a hologram
hologram.
map.
There's no strategy in these things. It's just Autobots attack, Decepticons attack.
I mean, that's why you've never seen Hound use this.
They only ever go quick, hide and cover, and that's about the only other strategy they use.
Guys, we're
Hound-
losing the plot. He wants to be a human.
Yeah, like, really, let's go back to this. Let us dissect this. What?
Well, he does love Earth. I remember in the early episodes, he likes how peaceful Earth is because he's like, there's no war taking up the whole planet. There's birds and trees.
Okay, but one of his first interactions with humans was them attacking him, throwing tools and stuff at him. What makes him go from loving the atmosphere of the planet, in the abyss that they often hang out in, to wanting to be a human?
Yeah, because you can be a robot and enjoy Earth, but not want to be a human.
Yeah, I think that's something that was never used in the actual show because this was just the back of the toy.
Maybe he's jealous of the human's touch. He wants their sense of smell.
It was ever since Spike wrote him. He just wanted to be a human. I'm so sorry.
Well, one Autobot will actually become human in the future. I'm surprised Hound didn't take that chance to become human.
Oh, don't make this a Sonic thing, please.
What, is Sonic trying to turn into a human now? Is that the plot of the next game? He's just going to be a human?
No, just the weird interspecies love kind of thing. It's just-
Sonic 06. Sonic 06. But no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it until we get
Yeah.
there.
Thomas, fate after the movie.
Wait, I still function.
Fate after the movie. In the movie, Hound was seen outside the Autobot base before the attack, but also at Optimus' ship when Optimus Prime arrived in to join the fight at Autobot City. But he was never seen again after the movie. He was either trapped outside and rejoined the fight later, or one of these is an animation error. He joined a rescue team to help save Cybertronian civilians after Unicron's attack, and could now form with his other Season 1 survivors to become Skyrain. Okay.
It's like the third guy we've reviewed who became Skyrain.
I don't. Well, I'm pausing and because I'm confused. Is like I know of combiners. I did not know of a combiner named Skyrain, and I didn't know that regular Autobots could just decide to become a combiner somehow.
This is some toy from like 6 years ago. Supposedly, the stories are canon to the rest of the universe. So it's basically all these Season 1 characters that can combine to become Skyrain.
Oh, okay. So modern day people wanted to just make more combiners.
Yeah.
Okay. He also gained the ability to project people's memories as holograms. So he basically gained Soundwave's power of mind reading combined with his own hologram powers. He went on to use his holograms to produce Cybertronian musical plays. Wow. He traveled to Japan to stop G.I. Joe's Cobra Commander. That couldn't officially be called Cobra Commander.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that was like the one time I think he showed up in Season 3.
Well then,
So what
Or no,
was this
or no, wait,
in?
this is-
Was this in Transformers or?
They used him in the manga again, like that not Cobra Commander in some of the manga later.
I love that. I'm so glad because I was so upset that they only used him for that one episode,
Yeah.
and I'm
So-
mad I can't remember his name right now.
So Thomas, continue.
And you'll get there. Don't worry.
I
you'll
mean,
love it.
yeah, because I love Cobra Commander, so
He
I'm
is
just
so
like, I
good.
want to know, I want to see that now.
Just wait. It'll happen. It is so worth it.
All right, he returned in the animated series Headmasters, but stationed on another planet so he wouldn't appear on the show for more than one episode. This was his last canonical appearance.
So he survived, but then really didn't go on to do much.
I mean, that's better than some robots.
Some robots were just forgotten. They didn't get to become a part of Skyrain.
Yeah. True
Yeah.
facts.
We got some Hound fun facts. We can just take turns reading them, starting with one of you.
Sure, I'll start out. Both the French and Portuguese names translates hound to tracker, and his names in other countries are everything from scout, Danish, kangaroo, Italian. Really, it's not Australian. Anyways, hunter, Portuguese and Russian, and chief detective in China.
Oh,
I'm not sure which one I like more.
Chief Detective.
That's all beautiful.
His animated design was based on the package art and not the figure, resulting in his rifle only being a gun in the show, but a long rifle for the actual figure.
Hound was one of the Japanese Diaclone lines that came with a human pilot, even though he did have a head. His rocket launcher had to be changed to fire, not so fast, so children wouldn't shoot their eyes out.
Oops.
So, oh, that's right. I saw a commercial in Japan. It actually went whoom, like really across the room. But in America, it just goes pachoo before falling down. So they wanted to make it so people wouldn't, kids wouldn't shoot other kids in the eye with his rocket launcher.
America.
All right. So, this is my note, so I guess I better read it. So I'm not into many toys, but I did see there was a line called War for Cybertron, where you can apply battle damage stickers onto the robots. And but all I can think is, once this is battle damaged, is it stuck that way forever, or do the stickers come off? Because I found like Hound had a figure in that line, and I just like, okay.
Huh. Forever dead.
Okay, so one of his figures transforms into a van. But even then, it's really awkward because his head just comes up above the van and his legs below it, so it's not really a transformation.
I have the Rodimus version of that.
What? That's what
I
my
know it
note
says-
says.
I know, but I have that one too.
Yeah, it looks very blocky, but not as bad as this Hound one. Yeah, I got that at like the Japanese festival
Yeah.
that's in DC all the time. I just found these little. They were like called
They're
Transformer
precious.
Qs. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
no, they're called Transformer Q. That's
Okay, cool.
they're
yeah, they're
super
just-
cute. Like, sorry.
Yeah, just like little blocky ones. When I saw the Rodimus, I was like, I have to get this one.
They're just so precious. Like my friend bought me mine, and I'm just like, I can't decide whether I want him in like in its robot form or in its car form because both of them are just cute. Like, what is this stupid toy?
Thomas, you
But-
want to?
That actually just made me think your description of it just being like a van that sounds like it's just stood up vertically and then it has legs and a head at the top of it. It kind of just for whatever reason it made me think of just an elephant or a rhino just standing up on his hind legs, act like a human in a weird way.
You're not
There
too
is
far.
just a rhino that does that in Beast Wars, and he often
Oh my
Rhinox
God.
often talks. He just stands up on his hind legs and talks as like he's a regular human.
Okay,
So
so
I don't. It was just a weird that my
So-
brain just thought of that.
so type in Transformers Q toys and go to the images, and you'll see like what I'm talking about. There's actually a bulky Optimus, a bulky Wheeljack, and Bumblebee. There's even a movie Optimus, and I'm like, oh man.
Movie Optimus.
Yeah, he's designed to look like Optimus from the live action movie.
Oh. I mean, actually, this is a lot different than what I was thinking. Because, I mean, these look like cars. They're just like on a raised platform and not necessarily. So I thought the van was turned basically like 90 degrees up in the air. So, like, its trunk would be like on the ground. But these actually look kind of cool.
Yeah, they do, but for some reason, Hound just looks really poorly designed. Or just doesn't look right. I don't know. Oh, there's a Starscream one.
Why don't I have the
So the
Starscream
Hound
one?
one is
man,
he's supposed to be a
Shockwaves looks-
van.
Soundwaves actually looks really cool.
Oh, Hounds. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's got some extra baggage on the back of his. His proportions look kind of off.
There is a Hello Kitty Decepticon version of one of them.
But I like all of these. The Starscream one I'm looking at, I don't know if it's a Transformers Q one, but the Starscream one I'm looking at looks like trash. I hate this one.
The one with the fat, like, it looks like a really fat cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some
Yeah.
reason, Hound is the only one that doesn't show up on my image shirts now.
Why does Rodimus look like a hot rod, like camper van?
I'm sorry. I love
Hey,
this little
that
fat
one is
Starscream.
Oh no, the Starscream one's not good.
No, it's so fat. I love him. He's so fat with tiny little legs.
All right, we've got to post some of these images on the for this episode.
I kind of like the RC one too, even though I don't usually ever like the RC like 80s design. It just looks
Aw, but
funny.
her face is adorable. Like, you can't not like that.
Did you guys see the Hello Kitty one?
No?
Where she has a Decepticon logo and all these slashes as if she's been attacked.
I mean, I found Hound.
I still haven't found him, even though I'm the one who mentions it in our notes.
I had
He
to
does
Google him
look terrible.
specifically. Yeah, he looks terrible.
All right, so we will show everyone in our links everything but him.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Look, he
I'm just getting regular Hound figures. I don't. Are you
Anyway.
Anyway, any guys want to talk about anything else for our podcast? I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I started watching the Vehicle Force Voltron, and Peter Cullen is the captain on that show. He doesn't combine, but he's the captain that's in charge of all the people that form the Vehicle Force Voltron for that show, which is Dairager in Japan. And that's been fun to watch just because as episodes go by, they get more and more altered from their original Japanese plots and content because too much death and war and stuff starts happening.
Yep. Wait, is this like is this the original Voltron that you're watching? Like from the 80s?
Yeah, it's the original Voltron from the 80s where they took two
Where they
series.
took-
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say where they took the same clip and just put it at the ending of like several episodes when somebody died because they were just
Yes.
like, they can't show it, so let's just have Red Guy get kissed again by the princess and everything's hunky dory.
Yeah.
No one will notice.
I'm talking about the Vehicle Force Voltron, though, which is 15 people that combine into one giant other Voltron, even though it's from a completely different show. Because the original is from Go Lion, whereas Vehicle Force comes from Dairager 15.
too
I
much.
thought I knew about Voltron in general. What you guys are saying? What are you saying? That's what
See,
I
I didn't know this existed too till like as I was when I bought the re-release, the original Voltron, like over a decade ago. They also released Vehicle Force Voltron. I'm like, what is Vehicle Force Voltron? So I had to look it up like on the internet to know even what the heck it was. Because when I was a kid, they only aired the other Voltron. But apparently they alternated between showing them, but kids just did not like Vehicle Force as much because a lot of the characters didn't have personalities because they were only showing the plot most of the time. So I can understand why nobody knew who most of the characters were.
So I knew that Voltron did use footage from the other series, but I thought it was just simply just using, some of the like vehicle stuff. I didn't know that he decided to just use everything whole cloth. I mean, to me, that's just like, why? Like, did you not like the characters that you had? Did you feel like
Well,
the
no.
universe needed to be more populated or something?
Well, they were grabbing, they wanted to do like 100 some episodes syndication. So to make that work, they were going to get 3 completely different series and then edit them as if they all existed in the same universe. So the plan was to make, Die Rugger is the inner universe, which is near Earth. Voltron is the far universe. Like, they're so far away from Earth, they can't even get here in time. So that's why they're always fighting a different enemy. And then there was supposed to be an inner universe Voltron. I mean, a middle universe Voltron, but that one never got created because Voltron just got too mega popular and nobody cared about the Vehicle Force people. So they just went and hired the Japanese company to make more episodes 2 years after they'd already stopped making them.
And was this a Japan thing, or did this also happen in the US? Like,
No, this is the U.S. The U.S. took
wow.
two different Japanese shows, and a third one they were going to do, and they were going to just edit them all to be in the same universe, but so they would make reference to
I don't
each
know.
other.
Maybe
but they
that's
never
why.
interacted.
I don't know. I never felt like Voltron was too popular. Like, it seemed like people knew of it, but it didn't seem like anybody was really into it that much.
Okay, I had a Voltron figure, so
I mean, you had a Voltron figure. You didn't have a Vehicle Force figure.
yeah. Though the vehicle
Like,
was
were
a
you
gift,
watching
too.
all this other stuff too? Like, do you remember that? Being into that stuff in your childhood, the extra
Oh,
stuff.
oh, that's right. I never saw Voltron on TV. It was always through VHS rentals, so that's probably why I never saw Vehicle Force.
I remember watching some random episodes of Voltron on TV, but I don't remember anybody else saying that they were watching it as well. I didn't really hear about Voltron until like middle school, high school, where people were like, "Remember Voltron?"
Oh, wow. That was one of my earliest memories, watching that, but apparently, according to my mom and dad, I must have been in that age where I wanted to rent it every week or 2, so it was like I was watching it constantly and probably driving them crazy, the same 3 or 4 episodes that were on the initial VHS. You know how, like, little kids will just watch the same video for months at a time over and over? That was one of them. That and Sword in the Stone, apparently, was what I was obsessed with as a baby.
Ninja Turtles and Back to the Future. Those are my 2. Can't get better than that.
I thought you were going to say Back to the Future, the cartoon, after you said Ninja Turtles.
Oh no, I never watched the cartoon. The cartoon seemed terrible to me, even as a kid. All right, I guess we will. That was our pilot for random 80s nostalgia.
And then next episode, we'll look for some.
For the next 10 minutes of that pilot.
We'll have some Voltron Transformers crossover fan fiction for you next episode.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's done it.
Oh, but are there fan comics like the
Nobody likes
Mighty
giant
or
robots.
like the Mighty Orbots Transformers comic we found?
Yeah.
Wait, oh yeah, okay. Right. I was like, Orbots is good, whatever.
Oh, speaking of, I think that's our next episode. What a segue. I hope you all can join us for our next episode, where we'll take a brief 1-episode detour into some other giant robots. So, signing off, this is Sean.
Sam and Lama.
It's Thomas.
Good night.
Night.